Hey, team, how we going? Let's go for, holy shit, look at the colour here. Wait 2 seconds, team. Let's go for a sound check here. Is everything all right? It started on a different camera. Goddamn YouTube, I hate you. Guys and gals, I've sat here for an hour waiting for this to kick off, and this is the camera. It switched over from everything we'd set up to the other, and now it's saying it's unstable. How are we going, team? Guys and gals, I could not tell you in a production video. I had to come online and talk to you what I believe could be bad news. I'm going to get into it straight away. I can see you all there, team. We've been talking for a long time now. Fergie, how you going? SF Mango's fantastic name. Guys and gals, I think that I'm going to be the bearer of bad news, so to speak. And what do I mean by that? Well, I think we need to look at things in natural disaster that is happening at the moment, the state of emergency, so to speak, that our country is not healthy, nor is any country in the world. There is economical, and there is also the COVID-19. Anything that you thought was going to be the same, any promises made are teetering as we speak. There is no definites. There is no guarantees. This is not about anyone's emotion. It's not about anyone's promises. This is about people making hard decisions and still making these hard decisions based on needs, Australia's needs, defence needs, where we need to cut away the preamble, where we need to think outside the box, where we have people wargaming, what if we do this? What effect will it have on that, so to speak? It is like Australia has been hit by a car. The blood has run to the major organs. The fingers, the extremities. Michael Stott, medic, would know what I'm talking about. Now the body is not functioning as per normal, and things that seem so important aren't as important at the moment. So what am I getting at? I'm getting at there is decision-making processes happening as we speak, where I believe, and it was actually seeing what's happening in the US triggered me to speak about this tonight, that I believe that almost everyone that has the thought process that they are going into the military, I believe are going to get some bad news real soon. If you're getting silence at the moment, that might be the bad news. If you've been told up until this point, remember, you might be getting a message from the military, from the ADF, that is, do not call anything off until we give you further information. And then all at once, it might all get called off. And it's not, you can't take it personally. I'll explain it further. The Army Reserve can get stood up to assist people at the moment in this state of emergency that is occurring in accordance with the coronavirus. Okay, I get it. You get it. You've been in shutdown or seeing that our world has been influenced already, and it's got a long further to go. Well, the US has already announced that they are basically calling off recruiting across their military, Air Force, Army, Navy. And that is due to not getting our powder wet too early. We can't afford to have people getting in and then contaminating our institutions. This is the first time I've ever heard of this, because in times of war, you actually ramp up your training. But the last thing we can do now, afford to do now, is get everyone into one area. And this contradicts some of the things I've said in the past. I believe the regular army, a lot of people I know have been stood down, or at least stay at home at the moment, so as to lessen the chances of contamination of large groups, etc. I believe the Army Reserve is assisting in a support role. But if I was to ask you, if you were the chief of the army right now, the chief of the Defence Force, what would be your biggest priority? Is it coronavirus as a military? Or is it still preparing for war? Is it still preparing for a threat, both foreign or domestic? His job is not to get upset. His job is not to get emotional. His job is not to listen to the politicians in times of strife. His job is to face forward where his threat is. His threat is not the coronavirus, but he is a tool. He's a tactical tool of an extension of the government. But he has to be used correctly, because once you engage him, it's going to occur. That's bad news for many, including Jordan, that rang me last night with shock news that only after applying several months ago, got a call yesterday to say, at this stage, you're going to be going into 343 Infantry in June, July period, at the coldest time of the year. Now, I was talking to him yesterday. I've had some conversations today, and some of my common sense started to prevail after the investigations I've done by looking at things that are happening further abroad, and that is that I believe there's bad news coming our way for our people that are getting ready to join the military. There's a second reason for this. Those that are in the military now, ask yourself this: if you were in their role and you were about to get out of the military, you had your discharge forms in, you get 3 months to get out. And if it wasn't for a medical reason that was under no control of your own, and someone came up to you and said, hey, dude, do you really want to get out to a 30% unemployment rate? What are you going to do when you get out? No one's hiring at the moment. You could be putting yourself in real harm's way while you're in a future-proof job, while you're getting paid well, while you have free medical, while you have free market rent accommodation, while you have stability, while you're around your buddies. You'd be an idiot to get out of the military. Air Force, Army, Navy, either or. An idiot. So what's happening is the natural flow of events, the migration of people out of those roles once they've done their 4 years. Once they've had their fill, once they've been on operations, they decide it's time to go into greener pastures. It's time to now go and join the police force. It's time to go and open a coffee shop. Okay. Well, those things are going to be on hold. And everything, every decision that is made, there is a butterfly effect. By someone saying, okay, what are we going to do? We're going to call off recruiting. What's that going to affect? People not getting out of the military. That's going to affect recruiting, because there's only a certain amount, a definitive number of position numbers. And therefore, for those that have been in the recruiting process for the last year, 2 years, you know that our military has been full. There's been other politics involved in that as well. But now we're seeing the butterfly effect of that. When no one's getting out, then no one can get in when those positions are taken. And then when there's a threat of this virus kicking in and them deciding, okay, let's listen to what other people are doing, what do we do? To me, if I could give any advice to the chief of the Defence Force, okay, to Mr. Morrison himself, to Angus Campbell, okay, what I would say to him would be, boss, what I suggest you do is everyone stays in the position they're in now. There is no movement whatsoever for at least another year. That way he doesn't have to concentrate on all of the logistics of toll, moving people around, of DHA doing movements, of all the infrastructure and changes that is going to occur, so he can rely on just waiting here to smash glass if he needs to do so. Does that affect people? Absolutely, it affects people. It affects you. It affects those that at the moment have done all the practice, that have the letters, have done the U session, assessment session, PFA, told their parents, taken photos of themselves. I'm going. I go in next week. This is going to be my platoon. I've already had a preemptive haircut. Well, guess what? At the moment, I would still plan that you're going in, but I believe you're about to get some bad news. That's what I believe. And I'm sorry for that, because you don't get many opportunities in your life, fitness, logistically, mentality, to be able to commit yourself to something like the Australian Defence Force, or any army for that matter. So I apologise to you for that. I'd like to say thank you out there to the guys on the WASP at the moment that have sent their hellos for tonight. To the military, they're out there, they're doing a great job. They're assisting in aiding the civilian community. And well done. Great job. Take the pressure off where you can. We don't know what's going to happen, team. We don't know. We are girt by seeing at the moment. It feels like Australia has not been touched other than economically. Rob Kent, I'm sorry for your job, mate. I don't know what you're going to do next. I can't come down here into comments yet. Yeah, it is a real tough one. Tribalism is occurring. Everyone is starting to look inwards, looking after their own, not worrying about projecting to assist others. And it's not a time for emotion. It is a time for clear head. It is moments for decisive decision-making processes that are based on courses of action that the military will be doing. What's the effect of this while we do that? What is our main threat? Is it domestic or foreign influences? We don't know. There'll be people red-hatting different scenarios that could happen, people that could take advantage of situations like we're going through now. Instability. It is the number one thing that Western countries do when they're going into a conflict area before they get there is cause instability from different means and ways. And then when everyone is running around chasing their own ass, that is when you come from a direction, again, with a deception measure, normally not to give away the area that you're going to come from, and then we go about our job. So the last thing we need is in Australia, when everyone's thinking about their job, when everyone's thinking about their family, when everyone's thinking about their health, and did I wash my hands, the last thing we need is someone capitalising on us in that situation and being flat-footed and not prepared. You need the A grade is our Australian Army, Air Force, Navy. The B team is the Army Reserve. The B team, a lot of them have already been enacted. You know, if the A team gets involved in a big way, you know, it's pretty bloody serious team. It really is. Midway, after this beer virus is over, they'll have to too many people join the army. Nope. That midway, say you don't, in case you don't realise, it doesn't matter if 1 million people try and join the army. They just get told no. That's already happening. You know, people got told they weren't going to get into infantry. As one gets out, then they let one in. And I believe there was over 1,000 people lined up. And after that, they said everyone outside that 1,000 don't even bother applying. Sadly, unless you're female. Yep. There is no one can tell you at the moment, even in recruiting, I believe, what the facts are at the moment. I believe the decisions are still being made. I believe that if you have information in reference to a U session, assessment session, a PFA, and we've seen all of these getting affected as well as Kapuka, I would suspect, okay, there's more news to come. I would ring them up. I would try to find out, do I still go ahead? But take it as though you are until they say you're not. For those that are doing the U session and assessment session, I would believe at this stage you could probably bet you won't be going any further than this, unless it's a critical role that is being made available to you because of some outside skill set that you already had. Vice versa, one thing you have to be very, very cognizant of is what is the most important thing to you, that you're in a uniform or that you get one of the three choices that you want to have when you get in. Because any role that has positions is probably going to be the least desired role. What do I mean by that? You might go to join up as infantry, armoured corps, intelligence, signals, engineers, did I say that? MPs, whatever, medical corps, but then you get told none of them are available. There's three positions only to go and be a storeman and one to be a cook. Would you be willing to be a storeman or a cook? And that might be a permanent position for you for 4 years. If just being in a uniform, okay, having that hat badge on, being an Australian soldier, Aussie patch on your arm is enough, which it is for a lot of people, then awesome. This might be your time to strike and get that job, that career, that calling. But if you want to be in the sharp end, if you want to be in special operations, special forces one day, then you need to make sure that you start, you run, and you stay on course as much as possible and don't do anything that can deviate. You can't afford to wait. It's just how long is the wait? That's the question. this news tonight, I'm sorry to bring it to you, team. Yeah, but no one else is talking about it. And we know we're an honesty channel. I need to bring you up, and by no means has anyone got a hand up their ass telling me to say this to you either. This is the world according to Kaz. But it's common sense. If people aren't getting out and quarantines are happening everywhere, it is highly likely that they will close down Kapuka or quarantine Kapuka completely. If they can't offer the product that the Army needs due to no fitness or a contamination of platoon, etc., or whether it be the numbers are just not forecast or are full and no one's getting out, then I would bank if this was a footy tab that we're about to get a timeout. Not too Cal. Sorry, White Warrior. That's what I reckon. Sorry, guys. Jay Hayes, the corkscrew, the zigzag. Yeah. Snuffles, Kaz, would you suggest proceeding as if it's going to be at least a year before? I'd proceed as though everything is still going ahead. Do not change anything. Don't rip up a U session letter. Take it as though you were still going. But there is writing on the wall we're starting to see now. You need to be prepared for bad news, and it ain't personal. It's not. Jordan, if you're watching right now, mate, hopefully you do get your chance to go to Kapuka in the coldest month of the year. I hope you do. But who knows? I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. Not so cow, Jay. JJ Tamaprom. Good luck, mate. Yeah, team. Good luck. Okay. Brisbane. Exo Challenger. Wouldn't be nice to have a march at Kapuka with no one able to come and watch, like friends and families. There's a lot of people that can't make it. A lot of people that come from Queensland, Western Australia, Northern Territory. It's a long way to come. It's a hard place to get to. And it starts out early. Gaming Tyson, good name. Should try to be sued for $6.5 trillion for coronavirus damages. UK news articles. Let me say that to the red country team, I believe that they are in a lot more trouble than $6.5 trillion. A lot more. Every single country is looking at them with blame. Do we blame the actual people? No. There is absolute patriots inside China as we speak. There is doctors that are going missing. There is doctors that have died. There's independent journalists that have gone missing. There is some weird shit going down over there. There really is. And I think what should happen is that blanket needs to get ripped off the secrecy of China. They're not a communist nation. They choose very sparingly to be a communist nation to the lower half, but the upper crust, the upper class, there's millions of millionaires. Millions of them. They are capitalists, but they use communism to keep people in order and keep the workforce at a level where it's cheap labor, which was getting too expensive. So then they wanted to shift a lot of their business over to Africa, which is the new slave labor, so to speak. Red Pill Crypto Shark. That's a fantastic name. As soon as I saw that Red Pill, represent. I'm red pilled. Would I go back? Would I turn back? No, I don't think so. Life is interesting. It doesn't necessarily mean I've always got a silver hat on, but I have sometimes a foil hat. You got to think outside the box. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe in the Trenches with Kaz. This is a global channel. It is the forever channel. There are some subjects where we will jump on here and we will stream live. And the reason why we do that is so you understand the context when we speak to you. And it is not a production value with edits, music, and bullshit like recruiting ads for the ADF. The new Instagram picture to answer your questions has got I'm not sure if she's even military, a female in civilian clothes with dyed hair, makeup, the absolute opposite of being in the ADF. Shouldn't it be someone who's sitting there in a uniform so they've got instant credibility and the understanding that I'm speaking to someone that, one, knows what I want, that knows what they're talking about and knows what it's like to be in the shoes. And I'm sorry, ladies, but it shouldn't be a female. It should always be a bloke, because the most important core that needs to be speaking back at us, because it is everyone's job to do it, is an infantryman or someone from Cav. Because a clerk doesn't know what it's like to do my job. An engineer doesn't know what it's like to do my job. Cav does. Infantry does. All right. So you've got to go to what is the furthest from normality in accordance with a normal civilian structured role, which is sometimes more management than leadership. And you have to have them answering the question so you know, right, okay, I got it. Sorry, team, if you don't like hearing that, but that's the fact. And I'm here to give you the facts. You deserve the truth. You do. Because when you get told the truth, then you can use your common sense. You can use the skills that you have to read between the lines and go, I don't think I'm getting told the truth here. Someone's pants are on fire and it's not mine. Tell me the truth. It doesn't matter how hard the story is or how bad the news is. People can deal with it. If you gave someone the role to exterminate people all over the world, every single one, no one's smart enough to do it. No one's smart enough to do it. Okay, we're going to get through this. But this is going to be a difficult time, and there's going to be promises made, promises not kept. And that's what I'm on here to let you know tonight. And some of you may creep through. I really hope you do, so that you can experience Kapuka in winter. Yep, that water is not for gardens. That's to soak your cams while you're wearing them. You're not going to enjoy that. Jaden, hey, Cats, been almost 2 years since been on a live. Chef from Townsville is my great uncle. Say good day to him. If you remember him, I had my assessment day booked for 8th of April. Got canned because of operational reasons. We're starting to see the writing on the wall as we speak. Different states, different recruiting agencies, okay, but they're all talking to the same boss. And the one area where they all converge is Kapuka. Dave D, we don't even know if he's going to get his Kapuka, and I'd imagine probably not at this stage. Sorry, Dave, that you had to hear that here. I was going to ring you earlier on, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I just don't know. But you need to start thinking about it so it's not just a slap in the face when the news comes, a conversation happens, the phone rings, or nothing happens at all. And you're like, what do I do now? They're not trying to be arseholes, team. They're trying to think of what is plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. And if they do freeze, damn mosquito, if they do freeze the entire military and say everyone just hold ground, no one's getting promoted, no one's getting posted, okay, we're just going to wait this one out. The bears have gone back to their cave, so to speak, until this is all over. It is going to affect so many civilian agencies so badly. It really will. It's going to affect them when their business comes from hauling military, okay, when it comes from feeding people at Kapuka. The Wagga Wagga township itself, if it doesn't have the supplies coming from Wagga Wagga, that's going to cost that town a lot of money in a time where they can't afford to miss out. Just remember in the back of your mind, this is a butterfly effect. Every time we give something to Peter, we're going to steal from Paul and vice versa. Do you like that, Lauren? Kaz, wrong camera. It is the wrong camera. I don't know what happened. I preempted, premature, the start of the stream. And, I went to shit. Ground Crew Aviation. That's a fantastic role, Madison. That's a fantastic role. And if you do that sort of thing, then that means that you get behind the double glazed windows and you have sleep schedules and chocolate milk brought to you in an operational theatre. Gaming Tyson. How do soldiers go to the toilet on the battlefield? That's an easy one, mate. As a platoon sergeant, I have a hole beside me, and you come and piss and shit in that. If you're a girl, and it's normally the person that's pissed me off the most that digs the shit pit, I decide on that. It's a bit of a punishment. And when you are the one that's dying to let go of a cable guy, and then you've got to dig the pit. You can't just do landmines is what we call it and shit on the ground. But it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. We're not putting up a screen. There's no vanity screen. There's no worrying about your sensitivities. More than 100 times I've gone, Jesus Christ, while someone's laying NBN, their cable. But because of the shape of a position, they're about 50 meters radius, at most, then that means someone's within 5 or 10 meters normally of me laying that said cable. I'm the one that misses out. I'm the one that's eating food Well, I can smell that crap going down. Kaz, you're looking into the wrong camera. Sorry. Bam. There we go. Now I understand what Lauren means. I keep going back to default guy. I'm a dick. Clueless. How fitting that they came in straight after I was looking at the wrong camera. Have you worked with the USMC and how are they? The USMC were very professional. I love those guys. Semper Fi. If there's any out there right now, it was great. But we kicked their ass in everything they did. We beat them in the sports day. They made up special shirts that were yellow and red that were there just to be able to have their battalion up against our company, which was Bravo Company, the 2nd, 4th Battalion of the Royal Australian Regiment. So we turned up there, and 3rd Marines in Hawaii, Kaneohe Bay, we won all the shirts, every one of them. The last event of the day was a tug of war, and they thought, we've got this. Nah, we kicked their ass in front of their wives at that as well. They weren't happy, but they took it like a man. And then the next time we had some fun with the USMC, right? That was outside Tatterstall's Bar, one of the biggest street fights in history. And that was a game between Bravo Company, the 2nd, 4th Battalion, the Royal Australian Regiment, and the Marines. And they copped an absolute ass whipping in the fisticuffs. But Kaz didn't win. It's not racist to say a black bloke, one of the biggest I've ever seen, absolutely cleaned my clock. But I was proud of myself for not saying no, and I'm sure he thought this guy thinks he's pretty fly for a white guy. Down I went. Nutsu cow was my last words as I had to sleep. Wake up, Kaz. Wake up. And what happened? The next day we were there and we got told, you goddamn legends. You've just got back from Rwanda, okay, and here you are representing in the street, and the USMC, they weren't up to the task. They copped it sweet. Yeah. Same guys went to Cyprus and then got attacked by protesters when they got off the ship. And that was the end of their R&R for the rest of their stint at sea, I believe. Alex, hey, Kaz, do you have any mates in the SASR? Yes, I do. But I can't mention their names, just like the dentist. Drew, USMC is downsized. Get rid of tanks. The modernisation of the battlefield is because we also have aviation that is second to none. You got to remember, the more that you concentrate things, the more things on the ground against a symmetrical enemy, someone that is the same as you, an A-class enemy, a peer enemy, you don't want to have targets out in the open. If you have air superiority, you're laughing. That's why we're going for Space Force, because when the people are up high, they can do whatever they want to the people below. But when you've haven't got air superiority, you need to get higher than those that are contesting that airspace with you. And then when you're up in the space, you can put things down on planes, which can put things down on the ground. We're back to superiority again. And I can't see a reason why first-class peer armies need to fight again. WW, hey, mate. Johnny Walker, hey, Kaz, what do you reckon about infantry reserves? Well, they're about to earn their money, aren't they? In times of war, yep, they are the B team. They're only ever the B team, but what do you want me to say? There is no way your B team is going to be the same as your A team. It just doesn't work that way. But I would have joined Army Reserve Infantry before I got in regular Army, but I was Army Reserve SIGs because it was closer. I could still have a surfboard. Mate, some really good operators. What I don't like, is I don't like the jump over from Army Reserve to regular Army. It should still always come back through Kapuka and Singleton to give that guy the best chance of being accepted by his team, because by rights, where are we? Where's our Skippy badge? Here we go. By rights, if you go through the Army Reserve and you bypass the School of Infantry, bam, then you will never be able to wear the regiment's hat badge. You have to earn that. You can't jump across from Army Reserve to regular and still wear the Skippy badge. You have to go through the School of Infantry. And if people find out that you haven't done Singo and you're wearing the School of Infantry, the Skippy badge, it doesn't go well. So I'd rather see people go through the correct channels, right, and get their time up there and come through in the correct manner. Yep. Nathan, Kaz, mate, I'm 2 weeks out from graduating Singo and still don't know my battalion. Nathan, please pick 1, 2, or 3. Reason is Darwin, crazy. You're going to go batshit crazy up there with the heat. right? And if you've got your father's looks, you might not get a lady either. Not like Big Cam, good-looking Cam, got one of the hottest ladies in the world, and I don't mean temperature. She's fat, P-H-A-T, prettier than one of the king of Thailand's harem that's locked up in a hotel without his wife at the moment. The reason why Brisbane is too civilianised, 6 RR, fine battalion, 8, 9, 5 RR Darwin, 7 RR, the land of single mums down in bloody Adelaide. That only leaves you one place. 3 battalions, 1 area, half market rent, 1, 2, and 3. Don't go to 3 because where they are on Laverick Barracks is way up the back and it's hot as Hades up there. Go for the big blue one, okay, which is not a porn name. That's 1 area, the 1st battalion, okay? Or go to the 2nd battalion amphibious if they give you a choice. So what you need to do now is start saying, this is where I want to go and this is why. It is the most military town. It is very sports orientated. It has the most soldiers there, which means it has the most assets allocated to it, which means you've got more chance of being happy, more chance of getting a first class ride in a helo, or getting in a naval ship, okay, or getting in an armoured vehicle, whether that be tracked, motorised, mechanised. The ranges are there. The airport's 15 minutes away. The coffee shops are plentiful. And almost every girl there has had a military partner, which means, although they're going to see you coming, they know the rules up front. How's that sound? That's where you want to go, Townsville. Someone you don't like, tell them to go to Adelaide. It's the best. Go down there. All you got to do is say, I've got a job. Swipe right. Straight away. Nicholas, appreciate you being real, Kaz. This whole situation sucks so much. All I want to think about is to join the infantry. I hear you, mate. Roger that. And having to think about waiting longer to join sucks even more. And we are absolutely in your corner for this one, mate. We are all the team that is surrounding you saying, dude, massaging but not in a cabin boy kind of way. You've got this, mate, but just wait. Just wait. It's not your fault. You've done nothing wrong. How long is that wait? Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, SF Mangoes, did they rope you into that? I'm not sure what that one is. USMC MC should be completely mobile. Let the Army have the armoured units. They've got completely different roles, and there's a traditional reason. And the USMC are the first ones to go without Congress approval, I believe, is the reason why they have them. They are the commander-in-chiefs to use, okay, before he has to start asking permission, etc. Madison, it's LED strips that light up the footwell sort of thing in the front. You can't really notice it too much from the outside. I think they stay on blue and don't change. I'm not sure what that's about. Jay Hayes says, like the drink, but spelt differently. Okay. Surely all the courses being put on hold will hold things up in recruiting. Neville Bartos, cash? None. No cash, Neville? Absolutely. And that's what we're in tonight. There is not a message that is coming out on the TV, that is not coming out through the recruiting process to say, everyone that is at the moment, Dorothy, follow the yellow brick road with your little red shoes. Everything is going to plan. At the moment, we have probably ComSense, probably action groups within the military that are planning courses of action, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Medical. What do we do? How do we save money? How do we support infrastructure? How do we prepare for external threat while worrying about internal domestic requirement? So I believe what they've done is, bam, B team, Army Reserve, get on board, support subject matter experts in the regular Army, boom, get in there right now. But I believe the battalions are getting told, hold off as a tactical reserve for where a hole forms and they prepare for where it might be needed. Someone's just robbed Peter to give to Paul there. Lachlan McDonald, thank you very much for sore hand. Nutsu Cow, your vids are always a big help. Cheers, mate. But I'm half Kiwi, and I hope for a winter date. I say bring on the brusque runs. Bring on the brusque runs. Mate, to tell you the truth, Lachlan, good on you, mate. You've got a fantastic army. The 2nd 1st Battalion, I've been on 3 exchanges and led a platoon in the 2nd 1st Battalion as a platoon sergeant there for a given time in Bravo Company. And I've got to tell you, mate, there is not a training area that you have in New Zealand which is not hostile to the testicles. It is so goddamn cold. And even when you get to an area where there's no spiders, no snakes, you've got goddamn wasps that hang out like the Brady Bunch, ready to tear a pantry to pieces. Burnham, one of the coldest places on earth. Those streams like acid on skinny legs like mine. Tommy J, hey Kaz, joined the Army October last year. Been at OTs for almost 3 months now. Love your vids, mate. Please, Tommy J, write something in there that lets these guys and gals that are watching right now know you haven't made a mistake. You're absolutely loving it. There is structure. People like structure. Everyone that is there, that is joining the military, where is he? Where is he? We've got Tommy J. There he was 6 months ago. These guys didn't exist in his mind. Now, some of the best friends, when you were going to join the military, the best friends for the rest of your life are operating in different areas of influence in Australia, where they might be working at Bunnings. Love the sausage, said the sailor. They could be working at Woolies. They could be a tradie. Yeah, and they're waiting. They're waiting. And when they come together, the byproduct of having a mutual task is friendship, mateship, and suffering together. That's what makes the best stories. Your best friends are waiting for you, and they're getting the same bad news as we speak. But I'd rather you hear it from me than from them, because at least when the phone call comes now, when the email comes, when a letter comes, you can go, yeah, I heard about this. I was expecting it. Fuck you, Kaz. Yeah. All you can do is open a cold one or one straight out of the box. Take it easy. WW, thoughts on Arty Observer? Fantastic job waiting for enlistment now. I love the idea of and while we're here, a beautiful young lady, probably one of the most beautiful young ladies in Australia, but she's not Australian. Name starts and sounds like Tully, rhymes with Tully. Her name is Tully, and she's in Darwin right now. Out of all the places she came from overseas, and she chose the place that sends the most people insane. And we're not talking about substance abuse. G'day, love. How you going? If it doesn't work out with your husband, my name is Notsu Cow. Pleased to meet you. Romeo is my 9-month-old Jack Russell. Awesome. What we were talking about before. Hey, Kaz, would a sprained ankle be a concern for DFR? How soon is it for you? I wouldn't even mention that, mate, unless you're going to Kapuka tomorrow. And even then, I would limp in and I would pretend to trip on the stairs on the way to the goddamn bus. If you do anything that gets in the way now, your chances might be ripped up and come back in 2 years. Madison, you'll just want to nibble on your fingers. Most people want a dog. Also, no more tradie breakfast on Fridays. There you go. Cammy Aiken. You heard me talking to Miss Tully. Rhymes with Tully. Name is Tully. Jaden Anderson. Jay, please lay off the snags. Yeah, you got to keep away from the snags. You go there and you'll end up in Navy for sure. We had a really disturbing. And by the way, thank you to Captain Nemo and Kim for joining us in Patreon. 162 and 163. That's their Reggie numbers now. Whoop, whoop. Awesome to have you there supporting those. We're going to save up all of that, and we're going to help a family when we get out of here, and you're going to love it. It's going to make you feel great. Warm on the inside like you swallowed a hot water bottle in winter. Anastasia, hey, Kaz, what would you say to a female interested in doing infantry full time? Anastasia, I've just said that I'm an honest guy. I would say under all and any circumstances, I do not believe in females going to infantry at all. At all. Now, for you to understand that, I'm glad you said that on a live stream, because there is context to this. As a long-term instructor of infantry, on someone who's done 4 operations overseas, on someone that has filmed females as they're coming into infantry and seeing the cookbooks that occurs for them, seeing the bullshit and the lies that are getting given to you by recruiting that you can do it, girl, etc. All the feminists that might want you to go there aren't going to be doing the training beside you, and they're not going to be there to shake your hand if you're injured, etc., and don't make it. I've got a daughter. I want you to have every opportunity of joining a career, a job within the Australian Army and being in that for potentially 40 years. And the chances of you having that 40 years go down to next to nothing as soon as you put infantry down. If you saw the figures on what you would say is successful females in infantry corps, and then they've been able to join for years, it would shock the shit out of you. And if it was parachute statistics, you would not be getting into that plane. I am a subject matter expert in infantry. I am. As an instructor, as a platoon sergeant, as a section commander, my job is to advise officers. So I can definitely have authority to advise you as a civilian that doesn't understand what it takes to be an infantry soldier, that I'd hate to see you make that mistake. I'd hate to see that. And if you need a phone call for us to have a talk about that so that you can vent, so you can go, but Kaz, I'm different, I'd be up for that. It's no dramas. I need you to understand it, and I need you to understand me and the fact that I want you to succeed. I need you to succeed. I do. Because you're a volunteer. I don't know what's got you there. I don't know why you want to go there, but you're clearly a proud person. You clearly, I'd have to ask you what your reasons why you'd want to go to infantry. Okay? There is a primeval calling that men want to do that, and it's in our DNA. So you would be dealing with the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. Less than 10,000 Australians, okay, in Australia are in infantry. So that means they are the top of, when you look at them, you wouldn't always think that of some of them. They'd probably like being called this. But you need to be able to compete with them. And I'm not talking about running on a track the way we are right now in a T-shirt. I'm talking about holding a Mag 58. I'm talking about carrying a 60 to 70 kilo pack. I'm talking about going on operations for 6 months at a time, a month without showering. It changes the logistics. It changes the movement. You don't have the same standards as men. As a 17-year-old, you have as much time as a 46-year-old male. He should not have to be able to lose his job at 46 years old while his time is still quicker than what a 17-year-old needs. The books are cooked. People are going to say you can do it, but the guy on the ground, the gaining guy that wants to see people come through and be a even, hard-hitting soldier, not warrior, soldier, I would say no, but that's my opinion. Anyway, I went on for a fair while there. Pumba 122, depression over a year ago. Although I've never needed medication, just received an all clear from a doctor and psychologist. I'm submitting an appeal this letter. Pumba, the toughest thing is there probably is no more. Well, there probably is, but there probably isn't many things that will bring out depression, bring out PTSD, bring out mental illness, etc. Roles in a military. In any career that is not military, and it's not saying it's harder. What I'm saying is it is relentless. When someone gets PTSD, mental illness, any one of these situations that can end up taking their own life after getting out of the herd, you got to remember they've had years and years and years of resilience training after being told that mentally they're good to go. If you come in there already compromised, whether it be weather, compounding effects, whether it be coldness, whether it be danger, whether it be inability to get on with a team, whether it be perplexity to take things too seriously, catastrophize, personality disorder, then we're setting you up for a fall as well. So they've got to take that very seriously. It is the reason why we have lost 400 soldiers to self-harm since the year 2000. Yep. They're looking after you if they say, hey, dude, you're not what we're looking for. You're not the droid we're after. Hey, guys, how likely is it to get an overseas rotation in a combat role? Not overly concerned if it happens, but was just discussing it with the wife today that it's a strong possibility it could. That's a good question, Jared. We train for the worst day. This is one of the first days of my life where I feel like we're in uncharted territory, where absolutely no one knows what's coming next. There might be a silence before the storm. No one knows. We cannot predict anything. At the moment, we are not in any combat roles overseas. For us to go back overseas now would take a goddamn miracle. Australia is going to be in patch up. It's going to be in recovery mode. but we still have to be able to project a fighting force if required. But I think that'd be more in line with the protection of our borders rather than the projection of our forces, if you know what I'm talking about. So your chances of going into a combat role, traditional combat role, are extremely low. WW, did you often work with artillery observers in infantry? I did, and I'll talk to your question next there, Mutsu Cow, the White Warrior, he says. So tell your wife, okay, again, we don't know. There might be other domestic dramas, for the soldier on the ground. We don't know. And time away can suck too. Do you have kids? Don't know. WW, did you often work with artillery observers? Artillery observers normally come in a pack of 3. There's normally a captain. There's normally a corporal, and from there, there's probably a digger with him as well, a gunner. So there's not a corporal. It's a bombardier. I can hear him going crazy as we speak. Those guys travel around in the center of a call sign in platoon. When they're with us, that means they're an extension of a company which has got them as a CO's asset. He said, I need artillery for this mission. He's seen a main effort, which is the destruction of enemy at objective Cobra. So he thinks that the call sign that you're going to be part of will be part of the platoon that is going to be in fire support, will have the best chance of having eyes on from a stationary position onto objective Cobra. Okay, your job is to be the eyes directly onto the ground while surrounded by infantry. You won't be pulling triggers unless it's to end yourself when the Indians are around you at the Little Bighorn. And to cook for me. And then what's going to occur is the captain will also be he will not command anyone in that platoon other than that bombardier and the gunner, but he will also consult with the platoon commander and provide him with a secondary means of communications back, because C3, command, control, communications, are our 3 biggest things we need. Now, his job is to actually be able to see the enemy. So infantry get him as close as we possibly can. From there, he has to be able to do the mathematics, whether he's doing the actual fire mission himself or whether he's carrying the radio, the mobile phone, so to speak, for someone else. It's a great role. Cam is watching this right now, and that is his role. He lived in my house for a month before he went over there. He loves it. It attracts some freaks as well. It doesn't have the same discipline as infantry. I believe that they should be housed in infantry units. They should be doing an Army Reserve infantry IT course so they know how to move with our call signs, how to live, how to co-inhabit with us. It's like an Australian going over and living with Kiwis for a month, or a Kiwi coming to live with Australians for a month. You have to learn about the culture of where you're going to so you know how to fit in, even when your hand on your heart, you're there for the right reason. We get it? Gaming Tyson. Oh, did you have a question, Gaming Tyson? Always like it when you not so cow. When you donate a bit, it's fair enough. You get a Nutsu cow and you get to the front of the line with the question, and it normally means that you try to amplify something you really need to hear tonight. I get it. We've got 12 minutes left, team. Daniel Summers, hey, Kaz, any thoughts on info for armoured vehicle crew? All roles. I would say at the moment are in suspension. I believe that everyone's role within the army that are in there, their career is on hold. No promotions. No postings. They probably will. I don't know. But I'm just saying at the moment, I believe forecasting, we have to think of worst case scenarios, most dangerous course of action, that could occur. If you get wounded in the army, can you continue in the army, or do you have to leave the army? Game Tyson, they will make a determination there. I have ulcerative colitis, which means it's like a sailor's had about 12 inches of how's your father? Righto, a bit of Cardinal Pell up your clacker. I've also got what's it called? With your back, when you've trashed your back, lumbar spondylosis. From compression from carrying packs for so many years, and I've also got mental health issues which I believe are moral injuries more than what it is PTSD. And that affects me in a way that I can be like that. The happier I am, the more nervous I get, because it normally means I'm going to be followed by a point of depression, which I'll never make myself the victim. I'll never be the victim. Everything I've done, I did at the time because it was my choice, almost, or an order that was there because I was in the military and I did what I was told to do. But I was still able to turn around at times and go, should we be doing this? Is this wrong? Don't do that, fuckhead. You know? So I'm not the victim in this. I just have a lived life. A lived life. That's what I've got. Would I change anything? Some of the things I've done before, maybe. Some of the things I've said, yeah. I've had regrets. Yeah, I've got regrets. But I won't talk about them. At the moment, have you heard about the King of Thailand locking himself in a hotel with 20 of his harem? Poor bastard. Clueless. How to improve endurance? That's been my biggest struggle during my training in the for my PFA. Clueless. A lot of that is going to come with competing against others and being forced to suffer and not be able to back out from hard PT surrounded by like-minded people that are stronger than you. When you train with stronger, you get stronger. When you train with weaker, you relax. Jacob, tell them if they're happy or not. That's up to them. You're doing this for you. You want to be a parachute rigger? Oh, well, Zachary, if you want to be a parachute rigger, you can go and work for a parachute company if you want without the danger. You know, you won't get paid as much. You won't get free medical. You might get a Red Bull helmet, but no one sees an old one of them either. Mate, you work with special forces. Paddy Irish. Going twice and they try to fix you before getting rid of you as training costs so much. Yeah. You know, the military will make a determination on what grounds you can come back to training, if at all. And if you can't, they'll hand you to another organisation, ComSuper, DVA, and then from there they'll talk and communicate with each other. And when you have a slam shut case and you're still in the Army, it tends to go in your favour. It does. How you going, Big Paddy? Paddy is one of the most lovable blokes I've ever met. You know, done his time in Townsville with me. Willie Clifton. Hey, Kaz, how often do you do these streams? I want to tune into these more often. Well, Will, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new here, team. Put a thumbs up now if you are new. We can float the topics that you want to see. Normally, we'd be up here 2 or 3 times over a 10-day period. But we've been backing off a little bit to give you a few smaller videos you can go back and binge so that you can watch more of them to get more of a concentrated information, because this is a distraction at the moment. Press like now if you can so YouTube thinks we're worth talking to. What we do here is absolutely my pleasure, because I understand there is so much information out there, Will, where people are getting told, you know, maybe the incorrect thing. If you're going to make a life-altering decision in the footsteps of the Anzacs, you at least deserve the truth. And then you can determine yourself, is this what I want or is it not? But at least when you come here, you know, I'm putting my feet on the mat and saying this is the news. And when you listen to it and then you get into training, I've never had anyone, not one person yet, say you lied to me. They all said it's exactly the way you said, and it really goddamn helped me. And if you need more, I won't ask for that at the moment, but normally we have Patreon that you can go to. I haven't put down the links because we're going through the coronavirus. And what that allows people to do, you know, if they need more or there's an absence of structure, so there's no reason necessarily to join this at the moment, is you'll be in the backbone where you can do one-on-one mentoring sessions, etc. So, guys, what else? We're going to ask for any military depression poetry soon. Or just military poetry that you've written while you've been overseas for those serving members, or police, nurses, whatever you want, anything with a bit of artistry about it. And we've got lovely Lauren, who's going to do a narration job there and see what we can do about bringing beauty and a platform to your work. All right? Make it permanent. Okay, got to head now, Kaz. That's all right. Enjoy the video and the conversation live stream. We'll see you all later. Hopefully my enlistment date on the 8th of June is still a go, and I hope so too, mate. I do hope so. Decky, how you going, mate? Jacob Holmes, yeah, mate. They cop a lot of shit and wondering why. Which ones, mate? And Furfco. Okay, supposed to be getting a call from Defence about the assessment in 3 days late as well. I'm worried about getting into the army, and if coronavirus is preventing that, any advice for me? Mate, all I'd say is get onto them. Get onto them, ring them, keep trying to get through and find out what is going on. Because I believe at the moment they're on the mat waiting to call things off as well. Dylan Kidman. This is the gentleman. Where is that? Where's that hillbilly? Bloody, it must be downstairs. Gave me the banjo before he went and become a dive, going to be a dive instructor. I hope you've had a good week, Kaz. It was good tuning in and listening. Makes me miss the army and putting on my uniform. Dylan Kidman, related to Nicole Kidman, fantastic kid. We used to have some great times together. He was getting out of the army. I was getting out of the army. He was a private. I was a sergeant. I gave away any of my positions, so to speak, to make sure that he had good morale. We got on really well, and he gave me a banjo after telling him he was going to move to Tasmania. No, it wasn't. After realising that it hurt his fingers too much, bloody precious. Yeah. Lovely bloke. One-on-one PFA tomorrow at DFR Sydney. D's nuts. Mate, it'll be interesting to see the way that goes, mate, because we've already had people get theirs all cancelled. Catonius is here. I've been watching but have been unable to comment. All right, that's fine, mate. That's fine. Yeah. Jason Bridges, hey, Kaz, what are your tips to become a millennial? Hi, Kaz, what are your tips to unbecome a millennial snowflake? I want to be a rifleman, but am worried I'm too sensitive. Jason, you will change. I'm going to give you a quick lesson here. We have had Helen Keller. How you going there? Interesting name. I know who Helen Keller is. So Jason Bridges, you're worried you're too sensitive. Well, guess what? When you come to the military, we transform you into something. You are a subject of your surroundings. That's fine. But you clearly have the calling inside your heart. I get it. But when you're around people where every second word is C, F, and all this, don't worry, ladies won't get offended because they'll be saying it too. You become a product of the surroundings that you're in. You become primeval, primitive. Eating with your fingers, no big deal. Shitting in front of people, no big deal. Doesn't worry you. Being naked doesn't worry you because you've got real things going on in your life. Have you noticed? Listen here, team. Have you noticed since the corona came out, there's no such thing anymore as Black Lives Matter. There's no feminists screaming in the street. There's almost nothing to do with Antifa, although they're the ones that came with their own masks before all this shit took off. All of the left has decided, okay, when there's a real problem going on, if this is not for me, they get out of Dodge. That's fine. That's what happens. When we're about to go on operations, we're going to go over and look for the bad guy, potentially fight. Okay, what normally happens is all the paperwork, everything we do, all of our sensitivities, off the table, and then we become a war room. And then we prepare for what the real situation is, what the real wolf is at the fence. The danger of what's happening at the moment in Australia is while we're all sidetracked and looking in at the injury sustained when Australia got hit by the car, the metaphor coronavirus, that the wolf comes over and puts his arms up on the fence, has a look around and notices there's no sheepdogs. So he thinks, is this a joke? And then he comes over and starts to exploit. Before you know it, he's over the fence and he's having a walk around and then he ups up his game. Same as what happens when you leave your Christmas decorations up and it's still February and the scumbags come past your house and think maybe someone's still on holidays. Before you know it, your house gets targeted. We need to make sure that every time they come to the fence, fuck off, there's a dog there, the sheepdog, still good to go. Prepare for the fight, okay, not what's going on behind you. JC. What's he got? 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Sorry, guys. I'm just seeing how JC's going here. Okay, he's talking to the wrong camera. He got me early. He picked me early. Guys and girls, do you want a little bit more? Do you want to talk a bit more? Hey, Kaz, do the infantry look down on Aggies? Look, we tease Aggies because you look like us, sound like us, but they're not the same. Yeah. Well, it's our job to tease you, just like it's our job to tease Raf. just like it's our job to tease Navy, just like it's our job to tease engineers and Armoured Corps and MPs. We're going to tease everyone, but we expect you to tease us back. Don't get sensitive. Just come up with something inventive and give it back, and we'll go, nice one. Yeah, it's my job to tease you. As per normal, Matty Heard, no. I think every single one might get called off, mate. We still need to put people through in a cost-effective way, and they need to be taught the correct way. You can't give a half-trained product, half-cooked product to the Army and then still expect them to compete at the same level, so to speak. Timmy Sanders, you related to Colonel Sanders? Love your chicken. Hey, Kaz, just tuned in, supposed to be enlisting on May the 12th. What have I missed? Timmy, what we're saying is, mate, that I suspect that everything is called off. I believe that the military is going to back out of any commitments they've made, any letters they've sent, etc. I believe there is some bad news going to go out to a lot of people that believe that they have letters of offer, etc. And what I'm giving you is what we call a warning order. I'm saying something to you so you have in your mind so that if you receive that bad news, you get let down gently rather than just, I've got my gear on, I'm ready to go, I've been training 100%. Now, all bets off. So this is not guaranteed. I want you to still go as though you're getting enlisted, mate. I do. But I'm giving you the warning, the word on the street. If I was in the military, I'd probably be closing Kapuka. Yep. And I think it will be. If it doesn't, awesome. But I think it'd be a logistic nightmare. I've got nowhere to go, Kaz. Keep going if you like. Thanks, Lauren. The moderators are the people we've got here in the blue. And basically what their role is to answer questions. What do you call it? Most commonly asked questions. Also to give you someone you can speak to in chat if you don't feel like you're getting through to me. If you keep repeating your message, all I want you to do is copy it, then go back down at the bottom again and paste it, because there's so many questions coming in trying to give you a quality answer that you deserve. But you could have been anywhere today. You could have been anywhere tonight, but you're here with me now. All right? So I respect what you have to say. I respect your questions, but I have to give you an honest answer. Otherwise, I become part of the problem, which can set you up for disaster later. Jay, cheese, Mr. P. Braden, Kaz, I'm 17, looking to become a medical or infantry in 2020. That won't happen, mate. Which one would be better core in the Army? And nervous about the fitness test? Well, if you're nervous about the fitness test, why would you want to go to infantry, which is the highest level of fitness in the entire Army? That doesn't make sense. Medical corps, vice versa. I want medical corps to be fitter than infantry. You're 17, it's okay. I don't recommend joining until 19. The reason I say that is skeletal system needs to develop. Okay, your frontal cortex needs to develop so you don't make the stupid mistakes that we make, especially in first world countries with a lack of world experience, so to speak. Army infantry and medics, I don't see one as being behind the other. Infantry, I believe, is where most people should try and start their career, because at the end of that, you can go down to trades, you can go to engineers, you can go to transport, you can go to medics, you can go to signals, you can go anywhere in the military. But you're never going to go to infantry from another corps. Yeah. So I would recommend go to infantry, learn everything about infantry, and then when you do a sideward step to medics, okay, you'll already be fit. You'll already understand infantry. You'll be hardened up. You'll know what your client needs, what your client wants, how they walk, how they hunt. Then you'll make a better medic. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you think you can do it, and it ain't easy, it is goddamn hard. For someone that's been in the military that hasn't been through the school of infantry, there's no guarantee you'd make it. Most people in the Army won't make it through infantry training. The reason why infantry make it through is because they went to infantry and that's what they wanted. If you send someone to infantry who doesn't want to be infantry, that just ain't fair. The RY Gamer, my favourite Twitch guy. How you going, mate? I want that light in the background. We stuffed up our stream tonight, so this is going off the this cheap $4,500 computer instead of the S922 or whatever it is that's over here. Ricky, good point, Kaz. I listen a week and I'm worried I won't get the standard training at Kapuka due to the virus and restrictions with social distancing at this point. It's all still going ahead, and I hope it does, Ricky. And guess what? It doesn't matter what your training is. This ain't your fault. This is what's happening. You are on a roller coaster. You don't get to choose the ride. So it's not your fault. Just go with whatever they have. And if you get a uniform on your back, awesome. Chin up, Simon. We're all here, mate. Where's Noah? Hey, Kaz, I'm looking at infantry then after a couple of years going into commandos. Yep. Well, that's a necessary step you have to do. So I have some military experience. That's how you learn to hunt men as well. Yep. You have to go. Commandos are advanced infantry. That's what they are. And when you look at them, they look like advanced infantry too. Bloody beasts. Girls couldn't say no to them. God Senshi. Good content, Kaz. Lurking but enjoying. Good, mate. It's great to have God here. Good on you, buddy. For that one, you get it free. What's going on here? Oh, come on, Jaden. What's going on? Nathan, what's happening? Is there some fighting going on in the comments? Anastasia, yeah, I understand your response earlier to my female infantry question. Yeah, a call would be good to clear up some points and questions I have. Okay, Anastasia, can you please, when this is finished rendering, can you put a message down there and we'll work out some way that I can have a communication with you? I can't go back to what it was with the last channel where I just start putting my phone number up and having bloody hundreds of phone calls a day because I'm a dad as well. But I've got no problem with having a half an hour talk with you and making you walk away going, oh, okay, I get it. But I want you to understand one thing, Anastasia. I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong. My eyes are shitty. Lauren wouldn't be here as our moderator. Beautiful lady, former model, tattooist, artist. She wouldn't be in here as our moderator if she thought she was wasting time with a dickhead. I'm a dickhead to some people. So believe me, mate, the advice I give you, it might not be what you expect to hear sometimes, but the truth is a rare thing, especially online, where people are nervous about checking hold on what they say. Okay, Lachlan. Anyone of the young side I was turned down straight out of high school, be prepared for it. You won't get gutted. Secondly, know everything about the role you're aiming for. It's harder to get in now. It is harder to get in now than it ever has been before. Okay. Because it is, one, got such a big line of people going there. The process makes it difficult. I don't believe it should be months to get in. There should be one day where you turn up, even necessarily in PT gear or PT gear in a gym bag, turn up, do your aptitude test. Are you wasting our time? Are you able to solve problems academically? Yep, no worries. Okay, strip your gear off, get into a duck squat. Does anything stick out your butt? Nah. Okay, good. Okay, put your hand on the guts. Is there any hernias? No. All right, bend down, pick that up. All right. No dramas with your body. Fine. Put your gym gear on. Psychological screening. Well, why do you want to join the army? I want to get some. Yeah, okay. Join the back of the line or go forward. And now let's see the fitness test. Yep, good to go. And you get a letter in the mail. That's basically what happened to me. Yep. And I wish you've got that too. Minty Fresh. Kaz, mate, I appreciate how down to earth you are. I love it because it is so hard to find people who are honest and don't tell you the bullshit story. Thanks, mate. Well, Minty, I've been around too many people, mate. You know, I've got friends that are dead. I've been around people that have just been killed. I have been overseas multiple times. I've seen the worst of what happens in the world. And if I'm going to do this voluntarily, I have to be honest with you. You're going to be ready to join the army and face the worst day of your life. That's what we train for, the worst day of your life. Anyone can be in the army on an average day. Yep. We're your friend beforehand. We're your friend while you're in and when you get out. That's what we want you to know. Right? Because all of those spectrums are in comments right now. And if you see us taking you seriously as a candidate, then you're going to know that when we say words like lest we forget, we actually mean it, right? Mr. Bryce, how you going, buddy? Apparently first 14 days at Kapuka are isolation. You know what, Tim? You're in isolation anyway at Kapuka. You don't go near other platoons. So it doesn't matter. It just means you won't be going to the boozer, I guess. How does Fubco, how does PTSD affect me? Me, mostly a lot of anger, a lot of really deep depression. What else? Attention span is just gone. Catastrophize. There's times where I feel like, I don't know, there's no reason to be amped up, ready to fight for no reason at all. Looking for drama where there's no drama. Looking to get yourself into dramas with other people. Extremely quick to go mental. If you ask Lauren, her partner is the same as me. It is like dealing with someone with a cup where it's already overflowing and you're trying to drive home from McDonald's where there's speed humps and trying to stop it from spilling. There's times when you're around me, there is nothing you can do to stop me from losing my shit. And my little daughter, poor little bugger, she still loves her dad, but she's like my therapy dog, so to speak. Quite often you see people start to go, whoa, 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 when something's going on in Penrith, and then she comes over and goes, Dad, don't, Dad. I've had guys and women go, is your dad about to go off? If a policeman comes near me and I want to shake his hand, JC, she's going, Dad, don't get us in the shit. She thinks I'm going to get arrested. But anyway, and I get very upset about things to do with kids getting injured. So that sort of tells you a little bit of where I come from, mate. You're allowed to ask those questions. People can't say that, there's a stigma about PTSD, but then when you're around people with PTSD, you can't ask them a question. You ask that very respectfully. I've got no problem with answering that, and I can go into further detail if you need. I think my poetry says it all, but I put out a poem yesterday, I think, and that was for Mr. Turner and James Hupp, that both took their lives, Special Forces guys, one Australian, one US, and the James Hupp, his mother, Jodie, is one of our subscribers, one of our Patreon members, and I wrote that poem for her family so they can make sense of the reason why sometimes when a soldier with PTSD is having a down moment, his family can't save him. They can make things worse. He has to be around other soldiers that will snap him out. They won't give him pity. They'll drag him out of that hole. Yep. WW, is it possible to go from RT observer to Special Forces? Yes, it is. Absolutely, it is. Not your cow. It is for SASR. But if you're going to go to commandos, you still need to come across and then do the entire infantry IET, 3-month course to become infantry before you can go and become advanced infantry. If you don't pass your barrier test, your Special Forces training, then you'll now be mustered in infantry corps. So it's another way of getting out of where you are. Braden, hey Kaz. Another question. I passed my aptitude test, good, and I got infantry and medic. Thanks for the advice. Have you seen yourself some 17-year-olds pass School of Infantry in the Singleton and get in? Yep, I have, but it's goddamn hard work for them because their body is not ready. Their skeletal system is not developed. Their ability to push themselves physically is not built there yet, unless they've had a very adverse life. Their maturity level, is normally down, and their judgment is usually batshit. It's dog shit, actually. They do some stupid shit, over emotional, and it can be tough. And if they're over emotional while they're still 17, then what can happen is they can get their permission to be there revoked by their parents. So that's a dangerous one. Seen that happen. Michael Blank, Kaz, name's Max. G'day, Max. Quick question: if someone got chemical induced 19 years, what's your thought? But first, in that time, that person became a paid firefighter, but still got old records. Quickly, if someone got chemical induced 19 years. I'm sorry, man, I don't understand that question. 19 years. What's your thought? But first, I'm sorry, mate. Is there any chance there, Michael, that you could phrase that in a way I understand? Sorry, it's the end of a stream. I feel like my attention span is almost gone. Hypervigilance is shit. It is, Lauren. It is. G'day, Kane. How you going, mate? Kane? 2D, thoughts on MPs? They're fine. You don't like them when you're in the military because it's the quickest way to get rank. It feels like they haven't earned it. Also, they're not a cop. You know, the MP, you know, don't think of them as a policeman. Their job is there as route selection, route protection. Their job is there for looking after dignitaries. Their job is there to work with attack dogs, not sniffer dogs. There's some amazing roles they have, but we're just never around them. And they think they have the final say, and they carry weapons like weirdos. You feel like going, is that weapon too heavy for you, bro? You know, hold it normally. Don't do that shit. You look like a dickhead. I think everyone that carries a weapon looks like a dickhead like that, unless you're going down a hallway in a bloody with a bunch of lads in a couple of fire teams and you're trying not to muzzle someone. Okay, thoughts on combat engineers? They're fine. Engineers, but I think work too hard. It's just too hard working. I like to be able to clean my teeth, clean my weapon, and I'm done. Engineers, no sooner they finish a job and they've got a new job waiting for them. Don't like it. Herbert S.A., g'day, Kaz. Any advice for the officer selection board? Well, I have, Herbert, and you've got Dave D in the chat as we speak, who just passed his and just swore in as an officer in the in the Army Reserve a couple of days ago. My advice for the selection board, pardon me, is you have to be able to talk about a subject for a given amount of time. You need to be able to know when to shut your mouth and support the team, but also have the gonads when it's your job to run the team. If there's a silence when no one's stepping up, step up. Talk when you need to. Be confident. Have pauses. And stick to your plan. They're going to find holes in the way you treat certain scenarios where they might verbally talk to you about, and you've got to come up with answers. Be ready to hold your ground and explain why you thought that way. Don't be flip-flopping around like Adam Schiff in the Democratic Party. Or otherwise I might go, this guy's not decisive. He's just trying to tell us what he thinks we want to hear. The other one is you need to get on to Dan Carlin. Because the first thing I would ask you is, Herbert, is tell me who the most influential officer is and how they have inspired you. And you should be able to give me one. And the best one I'll give to you is go through Dan Carlin, and then you look at things like Julius Caesar, you look at the Celtic Holocaust. There's things that he was a journalist, and now he's a podcaster, probably one of the best in the world. He talks about Genghis Khan. He talks about, you name it. Dan Carlin. Buy his shit. Listen to it all. You don't have to read it. It's all on podcast. So you can listen to it in the car. You're going to love it. Guaranteed. Addicted to it. And that will tell you why you think about that person. What's the difference between tactics and strategy? What does leadership mean to you? Why do you think you're a leader? What have you done in your life that has told you that you're a leader, Herbie, instead of want to be a follower, so they can make sure that you can take advice and that you're don't have a personality disorder? Also, be able to tell them what two at least downfalls of you are, 2 bad points, 2 bad qualities, things you don't like about yourself. Because if someone can't think of anything wrong with themselves, then chances are there might be a bit of narcissism there. And if they've got that, it means they can't take advice from sergeants, warrant officers, section commanders,